Welcome to my YouTube! Hi, this is Brianna from Brianna Reads and welcome to my channel. Honestly, you probably forgot what I looked like because I've been missing in action for about a month. I took about a year off to give you bitches some slack. Not really. I lost my excitement for creating content, which I feel like a lot of people tend to do. I work a full-time job, so I hadn't really been feeling myself enough that I was like wanting to come on here, create content that just didn't feel like I was doing anything. And also what I'm learning about myself in YouTube is that YouTube is incredibly fucking hard. And because TikTok and like Instagram give me instant gratification, it's so easy for me to be like, that works, that doesn't. And because I'm so new to YouTube, it's one, time consuming because I'm still learning how to edit correctly. I know that I'm still not great at it, so I don't do all the things that I'm not good at, but again, I'm working on it. And then on top of that, I tend to like beat myself up for the lack of views without realizing that like I'm literally a novice. This is a completely new platform and I'm genuinely just trying to learn and work on my long form content. But I did want to tell you what I've been up to. So January, February, and March, we're gonna do Q1 reading wrap up. I'm just gonna tell you guys what I've been reading, what I've loved, what I haven't. And then hopefully my next video is what I'm planning on reading in April, even though we are 5 days delayed. Better delayed than denied, right? Right, anyway. So I went on my second brand trip with Shelves in the City. I went to LA, I stayed at the Beverly Wilshire, which was fucking insane. I had my first Erewhon smoothie, and for $23, babes, it was good. I understood, completely understood. Would I pay for them every day? Absolutely not, because I'd be in the poorhouse. I have been reading a lot. I also bought a car. I have a Jeep Wrangler now, which is like my 16-year-old self's like, I feel like a bad bitch driving in it. My boyfriend tinted my windows for Valentine's Day, so it feels even better. I am hoping that by this summer I'll have been able to put tires and a lift kit on, but honestly with the current economy, I'm not 100% sure because I'm trying to like be really cognizant of like where my money is going. I also got my nails done, which phenomenal. What else? And that's really been it. I've been in my apartment now for about 7 months, which has been insane. I bought 2 new shelves. I don't want to like move the camera around because I have the perfect setup, so I'm just going to insert a photo of my 2 shelves here. I will say we did build them a little tipsy, so one's leaning like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but for, you know, my first apartment alone, I'm not gonna knock it. Anyway, let's like dive into really why we're here. This is the Q1 wrap up, which means January, February, March. What did I read? I have my trusty iPad here because I'm not a Kindle girl. I can't do it. I'm an iPad kid. Okay, so I'm looking at my story graph and that says I have read 42 books and my current 2025 reading goal is 150, which means that I am 3 books ahead. So for January, I read 15 books, which was 4,392 pages. I'm just gonna put my stats right here and let's get into what I read. I feel like January was such a good month because I was on a high. You know, it was a new year. The Orange Demon was being elected, but I was like really trying to focus on the things that I could control, which wasn't much. So I started off with Mercy for a Thug's Heart. And to be honest, I read it so quickly that I don't remember much of it. I just know that they were a very toxic relationship and he had somebody on the side, but he wanted her. And I knew at the end of that book I wasn't going to continue with the series. Faze, he's a boxer. He meets her, falls in love with her, and ready to fight her battles. Ate it up, because why wouldn't I want a man to knock a motherfucker out for me? Like, does that make me toxic? Maybe, but I'm going to eat it up every time. I will say I read Onyx Storm. I'm gonna squeal past that one because, ugh, what a waste of time. I read Dreams and Nightmares by Brashear Story. Yes. I read Speak, a post-divorce romance by J.L. Seegers. Oh my God, as a divorcee, I ate that shit up. Because every woman who has been in a really terrible marriage and has been left deserves to find love and to get her cheek slapped. I read next Bad Intentions. It was a hockey romance and it was like very odd. I do remember it left off on a cliffhanger and I was really confused because he made her leave the town and pretend that they had never met, which was like fucking weird. But it was like white people shit. Next up, Won't Keep You Waiting by Tylen. Loved it, loved it. Sprung on a Down South Baller by ML Bash. All of a sudden I was like, do I want a basketball player? And then I realized that I like monogamy. So the answer to that is no. Speaking of basketball players, have y'all been keeping up with Anthony Edwards can't keep his dick in his pants? He has a second, or is it like fourth? It might be fifth at this point, baby mom who is older than him by like 20 years. I'm exaggerating. And he wants to pay his child support in one lump sum just to get away from her. And she texted him, was like, do you hate me? And he said yes, but he typed it so quickly that he said he's. May that love never find me. Next up was Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. Good God. Good God. I finished that book and started looking up diving lessons. And as a black person who can swim, I was like, I kind of want to go to my local YMCA and see if that there is like a diver who wants to teach me how to dive. And then we can take it offline, you know? Fate of Our Future by Breana, because sometimes your love is your dead baby daddy's friend. I don't make the rules. And then I reread Heart So Reckless by Casey Mills because there's something about Redmond and Payson that I absolutely love. Because if you leave me at a bar on Valentine's Day and the person next to me is seeing his girlfriend flirting with somebody else, and he says, you know what, we're not gonna let anybody else stop us from having a good time, and takes me up to the penthouse and fucks me every which way but Sunday, I'm gonna have to reread it often because it's good. Anyway. And then I read Deuce by Kimberly Brown. And Mason Neiman by Jatoria C. And how do I put it? That Mason was so unhinged, so shot out, and yet I loved him. And then I read Salt Don't Go in Tea 2, which is a continuation of Salt Don't Go in Tea. Very cute, very like wrap it up. And then I read The Good Husband by Shari B. Now, when I'm beefing with my man because my sister is fucking my man and I'm in a drunken state and I shoot him up style and I call the guy that I've been interested in for a very long time to help me clean up my mess, and he does, oh, I'm on him like white on rice. Unhinged, they both were for each other. Now, what did I read in March? Bro, I'm skipping an entire month. What did I read in February? So February was also a pretty good month. I read 19 books. And here are my February stats. Meant to Be Yours by Sin. Cute, 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 Stolen Loyalty. Queen T. Kidnap Me If You Must. Losing Control, Half on a Baby or Two by Lady Nisha. This is a wrapping up of Losing Control by Lady Nisha, which I have bragged about often on TikTok and Instagram about how much I loved it. Wherever Love Finds You by Tylen. Double or Nothing. And usually anything love and basketball related like gives me a jump scare because I will stand on the hill that is Love and Basketball was a horror story. You cannot change my mind. But I did enjoy this book. Tall Red Dude with Tattoos 1 and 2. I don't remember much about them, so that, do what you will with that. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I met R.F. Kuang last weekend, right? And the first thing I said to her was, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because Ren, I wanted to, you know, but everybody's like, oh my God, like it's such an amazing trilogy. Oh babe, I understand. And the crazy part is that she said that this was her worst written series. And I was like, first off, babe, you're at 19 and you're not giving yourself enough credit because that thing was splendid. But I refused to go to book 2 because book 1 absolutely destroyed me. By the end of the book, I was sobbing. Uncontrollably sobbing because why would you do that? Why would you do that? Anyway. And then I finished up, I read My Good Girl, which was by Diamond D. Johnson. Very cute, very good. Too Hood for You by Casey Mills. I love Casey Mills. I'm a stan for her, so anything she writes, I read. I read Real by Kennedy Ryan, and then I actually went to an event with Kennedy Ryan. I'm gonna post our photo here, put on by Spotify, and I hugged her, and that woman is like joy personified. And she hugs like that person that like wants to give you as much love as she has to give. And she just reminds you that like being Black is fucking beautiful. But real babe, her sister. Anyway, Love Letters from a Gangster. I don't know, finding a prison, finding an inmate and writing him. I'm gonna be real, I've written a prisoner or two. I won't do it again though, because honestly, I am terrified, because what if they find me and kill me? You know what, Breana? Reel it in. No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel. Thank you to Berkeley Romance for sending me the arc of this. Oh my God, this was so amazing. I wanted me a him. I wanted that relationship. I wanted to absolutely fight her ex-husband and maybe push him down a couple of stairs and say my bad. And now 10,000 Hours with a Rich Menace by Jacquel. Now listen, at some point I'm probably gonna do an entire video of the Jacquel J universe and how they all connect. Breana, note that as you're editing this. There's something about Menace and CV that just like really filled my heart with joy, because not only is he like not wrapped too tight, but neither is she, and they don't play about each other. Because why are you underneath her bed chain smoking Newports? Babe, you don't even smoke. And a Newport, that is such a Black person staple though. Newports and a Hennessy. Anyway, next I reread Legendborn because I knew that Oathbound was coming out, and I remember reading Legendborn, and my book club is reading it, and we have a book club meeting this weekend. But I fucking love Legendborn. I fucking love Tracy Dion. I just love them all around. I do think that I went into Legendborn being like Team Nick, and then Bloodmarked I went in being Team Cell, and then Oathbound it's split because now I'm Team all of them. I'm Team Bree. And then I read Jabari Creed, When a Playboy Meets His Match, Nobody Loves Me Like You Do, Back in Blood, I Found My Forever in You. And a majority of these books that I read in July, Breana, what is going on up here? A majority of the books that I read in February were Black. Obviously Black History Month, but I've always told myself that I really want to pride myself on reading a majority Black books. I want to give them their flowers. I want to make sure that I highlight Black romance, Black urban romance, Black fiction, like all of it above. Like I want to highlight it and really explain to people that like you should be reading Black. So I feel like I leaned into that heavily for February, and I've been continuing it since. Now, for March, my absolute worst reading month of the quarter, and honestly, I don't care. I had so much going on. I just was feeling mentally just like not well. So the amount that I was reading was totally normal for me. So with that being said, I read 6 books, which seems like a lot to some and seems like not a lot to others. And for me, normally that's not a lot of books, but I really wanted to give myself like just time to like breathe and relax. So I kicked it off with Unbeknownst to You by Kiete. That motherfucker was unhinged. You're my stepbrother, but you're tracking all of my moves. You followed me throughout my life. You've made sure I've never had to work for a thing because you've always been in the background. You've never wanted to be with anybody but me. I read Sunrise on the Reaping. Oh my God. Here's my Instagram post when I finished it. I sobbed on this same couch while my boyfriend is like watching some car thing, and I'm like sobbing profusely because I could not understand why Suzanne Collins would write something so horrific. And it was so real. Like it was so real, because getting Haymitch's backstory and realizing that him and Katniss are so similar, but also understanding that Haymitch had never had a winning team until Katniss and Peeta broke me. And then figuring out Beetee and his son and Mags and Wiress. Oh my God. Honestly, the entire thing it destroyed me, because I knew that Snow was a bitch. He was bitch made. I'm so sorry. Please don't demonetize me. You're doing all of that because you're angry that some girl didn't like you? Oh my God. And I know that like that's like really simplifying it, but like I have never been so angry at a fictional character in my life because you're doing all of this because that you're punishing everybody. Oh my God. And then I read Creed, which is good. And then I read Qasim 2, King Inferno. Jesus Christ, Rockwell. Babe, when is book 3? I read Forever is Favorite by Sheree Lewis, cute. And then I read Bloodmarked, which was in anticipation of Oathbound. And honestly, for 45 books for quarter one, I'm not really that mad about it. I feel like my big top contenders were Unbeknownst to You, Legendborn, Bloodmarked, Sunrise on the Reaping, and then Qasim 2. Like those are the books that like absolutely were my top. Like those are top tier. And I don't know, like I just feel like I love those books so bad. So quarter one wasn't bad. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for quarter two. I think I'm just gonna like ease into it, kind of like see where the wind blows me. I do have to finish Oathbound. I'm halfway in, and for some reason, I cannot get myself to read it. Like, I'm just like clocked out, but I'm trying to clock back in. And that is it. And next up, I'm going to eventually, hopefully today, film my April TBR so that I can also get that posted. So until then, I am over and out. Bye. Ooh, here is how you can follow me. Here's all of my social media links if you want to connect with me anywhere else. Toodles.